Hello everyone and welcome to my new video. In this video, we are going to start a new chapter, The Thief's Story written by Ruskin Bond. Well, before we start the chapter, let us first read about the author, Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond was born on 19th May 1934. He is an Indian author of British descent. He lives with adopted family in Lander, Missouri, in India. The Indian Council for Child Education has recognized his role in the growth of children's literature in India. He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1992 for Our Trees Still Grow in Dehra, his novel in English. He was awarded the Padma Shri in the year 1999 and the Padma Bhushan in 2014. Well, most of his works are influenced by life in the hill stations at the foothills of the Himalayas, where he spent his childhood. Well, his first novel, The Room on the Roof, was written when he was 17 years old and published when he was 21. It was partly based on his experiences at Dehradun, in his small rented room on the roof, and his friends. His earlier works were written without it being meant for any particular readership. His first children's book, which was Angry River, was published in the 1970s, and its writing turned down on a publisher's request for a children's story. On writing for children, he said, I had a pretty lonely childhood and it helps me to understand a child better. Bond's work reflects his Anglo Indian experiences and the changing political, social, and cultural aspects of India, having been through colonial, post colonial, and post independence phases of India. Well, the source has been taken from Wikipedia. You can read about the author from various other sources like Encyclopedia Britannica and many other sources. Well, let us now see the introduction of the story. Hari, a young boy, befriends with Anil. Anil completely trusts him and employs him at his home. Does the boy deceive his trust and lets him down? The story is about a 15-year-old boy who is a professional thief, who changes his name with every target to stay ahead of the police and old employers. This time, he keeps his name Hari Singh. The other character, a person in the story, is a 25-year-old writer named Anil. The thief meets Anil and asks him if he was allowed to work for him. The story describes how the thief deceives Anil by committing a theft, but maybe due to being conscience stricken, withdraws later on in the end. Well, now the plot of the story. So, the story has a very simple plot with a significant message. There is a minor theft who befriends a struggling author with the plan and intention of making a steal. Anil, the struggling author, is a good person who wants to teach Hari Singh how to read and write. Gradually, Anil cultivates trust in Hari Singh, but Hari Singh has been waiting for the right moment to make a killing by doing what he is best at. After stealing money from Anil, Hari Singh tries to go away forever. But his inner conscience stops him from doing so. He returns to Anil because he wants to live a life of dignity and respect. Anil does not display that he knew about the incident and accepts Hari Singh with open arms. Thus, a well intentioned person tries to transform a teenager who had deviated from the correct path. Well, let us now read about the characters of the story. There are two important characters here. One is Hari Singh and the other one is Anil. So let's first read Hari Singh. Hari Singh was a 15-year boy who was an experienced and a successful thief. He was successful because of his cleverness and intelligence. He carefully planned everything before selecting his victims. He went to places where people would not suspect him and win their confidence to get job. After some time, he would run away stealing money from there. Thus, he used to change his name to fool the people and the police and his former victim employers. Thus, he was a fraud, a liar. He was cruel enough to rob a simple and trusting man like Anil. Well, he managed to steal 600 rupees from his house. Later, there is a transformation in the end of the story where he decides to come back to Anil and keep his trust alive. This shows that there is good in every bad person. He wanted to become an educated person in the future. He wanted to mend his ways and become clever and respected man and earn his livelihood honestly without stealing. Well, the next character is Anil. Anil is a simple, kind, and easygoing young man. He is lean and thin and tall and is interested in sports like wrestling. He is not that well to do, even who could afford a cook for his food. He is an epitome of patience, who could afford to teach Hari to cook and to read and write and add numbers. Though he knows about Hari's stealing of money in bits when he was sent to groceries, he still takes no notice of this fact. Anil is a writer who writes for magazines and makes money with a great struggle. Even when he earns a lot of money, he keeps it under his mattress and not in a safe box. Anil is generous, enough to pay Hari a certain part of the money which Hari tried to steal from him earlier. He is very forgiving in nature and therefore he forgives Hari of his theft without letting him know of his discovery. Perhaps conscience stricken, Anil decides to be a good man to Hari. Well, let us now begin with the story, The Thief's Story, written by Ruskin Bond. Read and find out, who does I refer to in the story? What is he, a fairly successful hand at? What does he get from Anil in return for his work? So, the story goes like this. I was still a thief when I met Anil, and though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easy-going, kind and simple enough for my purpose. I hadn't had much luck of late and thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. You look a bit of wrestler yourself, I said. A little flattery helps in making friends. So do you, he replied, which put me off for a moment. At that time I was rather thin. Well, I said modestly, I do wrestle a bit. What's your name? Hari Singh. I lied. I took a new name every month. That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. And now the explanation. Anil and Hari are the two main characters of the story who meet with each other. Hari is a thief and the narrator of the story as well. Well, according to Hari the thief, he was pretty successful and good at stealing. Anil was watching a wrestling match when the thief, Hari, approached him. Anil was a tall, lean and thin and an easy-going man of 25. The thief had poor luck and did not had any opportunity to commit any theft in the past few days. So he thought that Anil would be an easy and good man to steal. Hence, he thought about getting friendly with him. The thief commented on Anil that he looked like a wrestler. He flattered to win his confidence. Anil replied that even the thief looked like a wrestler, which snubbed him as he was very lean and thin. The thief replied modestly that sometimes he did wrestle a bit. Anil asked his name and the narrator, the thief, said that his name was Hari Singh. He had lied with his name. The thief used to change his name every month to keep himself ahead of the police and his ex-employers. Well, back to the text now. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting, and throwing each other about. I didn't have much to say. Anil walked away. I followed casually. Hello again, he said. I gave him my most appealing smile. I want to work for you, I said. But I can't pay you. I thought that over for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged my man. I asked, can you feed me? Can you cook? I can cook. I lied again. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you. He took me to his room over the gymnast sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. But I just hung around, smiling in my most appealing way, and he couldn't help laughing. So, now the explanation. They talked about the well oiled wrestlers whom they watched grunting, lifting, and throwing each other about. The narrator could not say much as he did not know much about wrestling. As Anil was leaving, the narrator again followed and approached him to ask that whether he would work for him. He gave him with the most appealing smile. Anil told him that he wouldn't be able to pay him for his work. Harry had not expected this reply and thought that he had misjudged Anil as a well to do man. Then he asked Anil if he could feed him. To this, Anil right away asked him if he could cook. Harry lied again and said yes. Anil replied that if he, that is Harry, could cook, then he, that means Anil, could feed him. Both of them went to Anil's room, which was just above the Jamna sweet shop. Anil told Harry that he could sleep in the balcony. Harry said that the meal that he had cooked that night must have been so terrible that Anil had to give it away to a stray dog. Then he told Harry to be off, but he decided to stay for a while. Harry's smile was so appealing that Anil could not resist from laughing. Well, it's time for the new words that we have encountered in the text so far. The first word is lean, which means thin, flattery, meaning excessive and insincere praise. Third word is modestly, which means in an unassuming manner, that is without vanity or arrogance. Next word is employers, which means a person or organization that employs people. Next word is grunting, making a low, short guttural sound from the throat. Next word is appealing, which means attractive or interesting. Then you have misjudged, a simple word, which means a wrong opinion or conclusion about. And the last word is terrible, which means extremely bad or serious. Well, that's all in this video. The Thief's Story written by Ruskin Bond. I hope you have understood and enjoyed the chapter that we have covered so far. In the next video, we shall cover the concluding part of the story. For more videos, don't forget to subscribe the channel and thank you for watching.